Safety and Professional. Thanks, Anne. So we're recording this session, so if you need to refer back to it, or if you have colleagues who would like to see it. But the purpose of this webinar today is to share some information about REL renewals. And I have our subject matter experts from our Division of Professional Credential Processing, Melinda Boyle-Pryor and Jennifer Lamb. I'm going to hand things over to them and then hide in the background because they'll really be able to talk you through how the process works and then answer your questions. We have a small group today, so normally we mute folks and ask questions via the chat, but I think we're going to leave it open so that you can pose your questions and have more of a conversation. If for some reason that doesn't work out for us, we can adjust halfway through or midway through. But with that, I think I will hand things over to Melinda and Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know some of you I've emailed with one or many times, so I appreciate you coming to this so that we can make sure we're all on the same page. We're really excited for the REL renewals to be in licensee now, and we've already had quite a few of our residents already start renewing, and it's been going smoothly so far, so that's excellent. I am going to share my screen, and I just want to show a couple of parts of the process, walk through a couple of parts of the process, and then if there are questions, let me know. I do not mind if you stop me through the presentation if you have questions along the way. And I have multiple screens, so if my camera is not looking at you, I'm looking at my screen that I'm sharing. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. All right, so this is what your residents will see when they log in to licensee. So if they got their initial license in licensee, they have a username, which is generally their email address, to log into the system. So this is the landing page that they get to when they log in. And I have my nice little test account here to show everyone. So once they're logged in, there's two different ways that they can get to the renewal. Either way works just fine. They can click on My Approved Licenses, and then for their resident educational license, they can click Renew. And then for the sake of this demonstration, which this demonstration will be pretty quick, let me go back to the home page and show you the other place, and then we'll walk through one. The other place that they can go to renew is there's a link at the bottom that says Renew Licenses. When they go in here, only licenses that are eligible for renewal will show up. So we have this one right here, and they click on Renew. It starts with just a welcome message, and then it's a pretty quick step through the item. So the first question, we include this on all of our renewals, is if they don't want their information available on a list request, they would just check this box, or they can leave it blank and go next. Either option is fine. It won't block them from renewing or anything. The next thing they get to is supporting documents. So there aren't any documents that the applicant themselves needs to upload or the REL themselves needs to upload. We do leave a spot for them in case there is something. In some cases, if they don't have a social security number and they need to submit form number 1051, this would be the place where they could upload that document so that we can have an exemption on file so that they will be able to continue. The other item here, we'll go over how the third parties upload this item, but that's the part that you as the post-grad programs will be uploading on behalf of the applicant. So they can't upload it themselves, but they could upload their documents. Then the final item is their certification of legal status. They choose one of the options, sign it, hit save and next, and then they pay the $10 fee. And really, for the RELs, that's all that they need to complete. They walk through the process pretty quick, only a few minutes. So the other items, and let me just pause here. Are there any questions that anyone has on this part of the process before we move on to the next? And I don't have my chat open, so let me open it and pull it over here where I can see it. 3 screens right now. All right. I don't see any questions. Again, feel free to stop me if you do have any. So then you, as the postgrad program, will be uploading the form for the renewal. I don't know if our new version of the form has been updated with the new instructions. If it hasn't, it will be soon. It's really very much the same form that you've used for renewal for many years. To do a third-party upload, you can't be logged into an account. So if you're logged in on behalf of someone or on behalf of yourself, you see at the top here, there's not an option for third-party upload. It's because as a third party, you will need to not be logged into the system. As the third party, the information that you'll need in order to upload the document is the PAR number from the applicant. There is a space on the form for them to give that to you. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Lovely. All right, so the PAR number, they can see it themselves if they go to My Applications, and that's the number that they would want to give to you. I'm going to copy it here to make things easier for myself. So as the third party, when you come to the licensee website, this is what you'll see. And you'll see at the top, there is the third party document upload. Yes, that is a good point. Jen mentioned the PAR is a 10-digit number. It needs to include the PAR, a dash, and then all 10 of the digits, including the zeros. So as a third party, you would go to third party document upload, put in the application number, and you see there, this applicant comes up. Select them and you'll see the document that you're able to upload on their behalf. And let me find the document. I just have a testing one to upload. And you can drag and drop. So if you have the file open, you can drag and drop it here, or you can pick it from the file list. I just picked from the file list. And it shows when it's done. And you can see that the document has been uploaded here. The one thing I do want to bring attention to here is please make sure to hit the submit button. In our system, if the applicant is the application is awaiting something from the applicant, if a third party uploads a document but does not hit submit, it doesn't put it in front of us to work on. It stays showing that we're waiting on something for the applicant. Once you hit submit though, that puts it in our queue for us to review so that we can get that document updated for the applicant. Any questions on that?
Hi, Melinda. It's Erin Oman from UW Health.
Hello, Erin.
Just had in the chat, does the applicant need to complete the top half of Form 2329 in the similar way that they do for 2601 and 3050?
Yes, they should complete the top portion of the form.
Okay.
Yep, so put their name, their REL license number, expiration date, and then they'll sign in date.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's the 2329. All right.
This is Jenny. I have a quick question. If a resident submitted a convictions and pending charges form with their REL application, their initial application, did they also need to resubmit that for the renewal?
They do not. In fact, we do not ask the conviction question at renewal for the RELs. If they were, applying for a full license, they would need to submit that document and the additional documents. But if they're just renewing the REL, that is not asked for at all.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then the document, the 2329, like I mentioned, is going to be updated a little bit just to include more licensee specific instructions for you and to take out the part in the corner that we use for receipting. If you do have any RELs who got their initial license in the legacy system, which I think we figured out was if they applied prior to December 2022 or so, we will still need the form submitted with the $10 fee as a renewal instead of renewing in licensee until a little later this month. By May 1st, everyone should be able to renew in licensee. So just wanted to put that out there because there are going to be a few RELs in that position. You know, there are a few that renew a couple of times, most only once or twice, but you may have a few of those, and we will still process them via the old system if they are not in licensee and able to renew in licensee. The new Form 2329 went live on our website yesterday. Thank you, Jen. She was working with our forms person on that. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is putting in a support ticket. This is a really good way to get in touch with us and get directly to the subject matter expert or the person who is best able to assist. And you can submit a support ticket. The REL can submit it while they're logged in. You could submit one on their behalf. Either way is fine. It's at the top of the page called Request Support. If the REL is logged into the system, this will link it to their account so we can see, you know, if they've put in multiple tickets, we can see all of them together. We can see it along with their application. So that's helpful for us if they put in the ticket. But as their post-grad program, if you have questions about a document you've uploaded or something along those lines, you may absolutely put in one yourselves as well. And I just wanted to show you what this looks like. It would be licensing, whatever this you need assistance with, the license type, which REL is perfect, the subject, be as specific as possible in the subject. That's how we get it to the correct person as quickly as possible. And the customer name could be your own name or the REL's name if you're asking something on their behalf. Email address and phone number, we'd ask if you can give both. That's fantastic. And if you want the REL contacted directly, you would put their email address there. If you want yourself contacted directly, put your email address there, and then include a description of what you're asking about. Pretty quick and simple as well. And it makes it a lot easier for us to respond to these questions as quickly as possible. So those were all of the things that I had to present. As I said, I didn't think it was going to take a whole lot of time, but we do have additional time for questions or anything else that you may want to ask about. And I did want to put out there if there are any questions about new REL applications, not just renewals, we're happy to answer those questions as well. Jennifer Lamb and I are very familiar with those. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
For UW Health, this is Erin again. We've asked our legacy REL holders to hold off until May 1 so that we don't have a bottleneck of paper delays for you guys, that we can really, you know, join with you to make it as easy as possible for DSPS and for us. So I just wanted to let you know that if there's any UW Health coordinators on the call, we will not be collecting paper forms. We'll wait until after the legacy accounts go live in May. And then I just had another question for you, Melinda. For our international medical graduate residents that are coming in, if they don't have a social security number, do they need to submit all, like the 2601 and the 3050 via paper? Or is it just the 1051 that has to come in via paper?
So we actually don't require the 1051 to come in physically by mail anymore. We can accept electronic versions of the 1051. So the one thing I will say is that they'll need to enter all 9s if they don't have a social security number. So 9 9s. I had someone the other day that thought it was 8 and it wasn't working for them, but they entered 9 and it worked. So they'll need to enter 9 9s to register for an account. And then when they put in the application, they can upload the 1051 to that application.
Awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying.
And we do also now accept electronic notaries. So whether it's notarized in person or they use an electronic notary, we can accept both of those for the 1051 form.
Great.
Great question. What other questions do we have? All right, and then Jennifer, I believe you had a couple of things you wanted to mention since we have this group on the line.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to say, if you have applicants who have no convictions and no malpractice, they do not need to provide forms 2252 or the malpractice form 2829, which is changing to 12829, just a 1 in front. They don't need to provide those. If they do provide them when they don't have any history to report, that's okay. We do not delete them, and we will just review the document, see that it was signed with no information to report, and move forward. So it's okay if they provide them with a signature and no information, but they do not need to. Submitting a ticket about it is not necessary. I think that's all I have, unless Melinda wants to prompt me on something else.
No, I think that's all I remember that you had. But while we had you here as a group, we just wanted to mention it because we've been seeing a lot more RELs, especially initial applicants, uploading those forms and then submitting a support ticket asking us to delete them. So we just wanted to cover that with this group here. They don't need to submit the forms, but if they do, we won't be deleting them. So they don't need to put in a request. It's just fine if they include them, but they don't need to. So that's an additional step they just don't need to complete if they don't have any convictions or malpractice to report.
I did think of one other thing. When you have residents who have completed some postgraduate training at another facility and are coming to Wisconsin, the Wisconsin facility, you on the phone call, needs to provide the form, the affidavit form, not the program that they are coming from. So it should be a Wisconsin program providing the affidavit. That's something where we've seen the wrong form come in, or we've answered that question. So just try to address a couple of frequently asked questions while we have you all here with us.
All right, I don't see any other. Oh, yes, Jenny, go ahead.
Yeah, I have another quick question. I just noticed that on some of the incoming residents who are applying for their REL, there's a new line on their due diligence list that says Wisconsin Board Approved Statement of Graduation or Completion. And it's not listed as either met or not met. So I didn't know if that's something that has to be attended to by the applicant, or if that's just a internal tracking item.
So that's a great question. So we recently launched a new system where Wisconsin schools can log into licensee and verify education for applicants for various professions. Resident educational licenses were one of the ones that was identified. So a Wisconsin school could log into the system and approve the education for an REL applicant instead of submitting the form to us and uploading the education form. It's only for Wisconsin schools that can use it, and it was recently launched. So I don't know if I've seen anyone use it yet because it was just launched within the last couple of weeks, and a lot of people haven't finished their education yet at this point for the incoming RELs. But yeah, that's what that's for. We have two different places for the education. What our plan is they will be both not met, and then when we get one of the two forms of education, we'll mark it as met and the other one not applicable, so it disappears off the checklist. So that's the same as the document for verifying education for those RELs.
Got it. That sounds great. Thank you.
we've had an eventful couple of months with launching things. So, all right, any other questions? Well, hearing none, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Let me throw my email address in the chat. I know a lot of you have my email address already, but if you don't, this way you have it. I'm happy to work with you and make sure that we can do the best that we can for our REL applicants. Want to make sure that they get new licenses issued and renewed as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Melinda and Jennifer. And yes, consider them your best resources for questions that come up. I just wanted to add a note on the educator access portal. We're going to be communicating with some of our contacts for that later this week, so that the academic institutions can start using it. Questions for that can come to me, and I'll put my email address in the chat for that. Melinda is still your, I'll clarify. Melinda is your point of contact for credentials. If you have individuals, if you are an academic institution and need access, Melinda is your point of contact for that. But if you have questions about the program and how it works generally, I can help with those. All right, well, I think we'll close things down then. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope you survive the resurgence of the winter that we're experiencing.
Thank you for your time and coordinating this. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, happy to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.